And so it starts with Rue just kind of BSing it, you know, saying that she's okay, that she's fine, whatever. And then she finally gets to open up, which is this.
When I'm clean, you know, when I'm present, if I'm part of this world, I don't just think about relapsing. It's darker than that. And you can say it's sobriety is my greatest weapon, but it's, to tell you the truth, drugs are probably the only reason I keep myself.
And then pretty much after that, Ali just kind of sets it straight. Like I told you, she was just kind of BSing it in the beginning, and he's just kind of over it pretty much. You know, gets in depth about how she's trying to act hard. So I'll insert the clip.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Listen, young blood. I was shooting dope before your mama's egg dropped. I've lived a whole motherfucking life to get to this diner to sit across from your arrogant ass so that you ever whatever me. You're 17. You don't know shit. You think you're hard? I'm harder. You think you're tough? I'm tougher. You got clean and went to kill yourself? Same motherfucking story here. You wanna know why? Wanna know why? I'll tell you why. Because you don't know how to live life. You don't have the tools. You're too busy running around trying to bullshit everybody to thinking you're hard. You don't give a fuck. When in reality, you give so much of a fuck you get in the bed to be alive. So guess what? No more wasting my motherfucking time. You want to use, but the least you can do is be honest. Own that shit.
So eventually they get to the point where Ali is just kind of talking to her, you know, just kind of from, you know, his own perspective. With him being older, he's actually is 54, and, you know, he's been on and off of drugs as well, and he just gets to talking to her like straight up, you know. And this was probably one of my favorite parts, one of my favorite clips that I'm gonna show you. But he just basically is just talking like addiction is a disease. Like, you know, you a lot of people don't really think of it that way. And I mean, I've even been victim of it myself, you know, people who are on drugs. It's like, you know, if they won't help themselves, why should I help them? Why should I care, you know, about their life? And they don't, you know. But it's not really a choice for them. Like, I mean, you choose every day to be sober, that's true. But when you're addicted to something, like, it's a disease. It's not so simple you can just be like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do this today. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't really understand like what an addiction is, and he just kind of goes really in depth into it. And I really love this part because it like really just opened my eyes personally, and then I'm sure for Rue as well.
You're not a drug addict because you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit because you're a drug addict. You follow? Okay, all right. What I'm saying is, you didn't come out of the womb an evil person. You, Rue, came out of the womb a beautiful baby girl who, unbeknownst to her, had a couple of wires crossed. So when you try drugs for the first time, it sets something off in your brain that's beyond your control. And it isn't a question of willpower. It's not about how strong you are. You've been fighting a losing game since the first day you got high. So you could destroy your life, you could fuck your little sister's head up, you could abuse and torture and take for granted your mama and sit here and look me in the eye and say as calm as can be, as cool as a cucumber, I'm gonna keep using drugs. That is the disease of addiction. It is a degenerative disease. It is incurable. It is deadly. It is no different than cancer. And you got it. Why? Look at the draw. But the hardest part of having the disease of addiction, aside from having a disease, is that no one in the world sees it as a disease. They see you as selfish. They see you as weak. They see you as cold. They see you as destructive. They think, why should I give a fuck about her if she doesn't give a fuck about herself or anybody else? Why does this girl deserve my time, my patience, my sympathy, right? If she was to kill herself, let her. All reasonable questions and responses. But luckily, you aren't the only person on planet Earth who has this disease. There happens to be people like me who understand that you aren't all that bad.
So then Rue gets to talking about, well, basically Ali starts it off, and he is, you know, telling her like, you have to believe in something greater, you know, something greater than yourself. And, you know, he's like, what do you believe in or whatever? And she, you know, she's BSing it again, talking about, yeah, I believe in the ocean that has a higher power than me, you know, Otis written songs that has a more, you know, greater impact than I could ever cause or whatever. And then he talks about God, you know, and she makes it very clear she does not believe in God. And, you know, for the simple reason that her dad died, you know, she doesn't really believe in all of that. she talked about, you know, how, like, you know, people who survive mass shootings are like, yeah, well, God saved me for, you know, I have a purpose here. And it's just like them basically saying, like, their life is greater than, you know, somebody else's that you lost, greater than mine or whatever. And yeah, let's get into that.
So you're saying the reason my dad died is because God didn't believe in him?
That's not what I was saying.
That is nothing that makes me angry enough I can argue.
That's not what I was saying.
You know, because every time someone survives like a mass shooting or some terrible fucking earthquake, they always say, you know, I survived for a reason. God saved me for a reason. I have a purpose. And then I think to myself, like, okay, well, what you're saying is that your life is more important than that 6-year-old who died that day, or the newborn who died that day, or anybody fucking else who died that day. Your life has a purpose, right? Well, why does your life have a purpose and my dad's doesn't? Because I could argue that my dad's purpose was to raise me and my sister. To be there for my mom. That was his purpose, I think.
So it gets to a point, you know, after all of that, especially, you know, talking about her not believing in a higher power, it gets to talking about Malcolm Little, who Malcolm X, as y'all probably would know him, but, you know, his dad died, you know, all of a sudden when he was little as well. And then, I mean, you know what he grew up to be. So, I mean, it's, you know, in her same circumstances, she was basically like, well, maybe I'll start a, you know, revolution. So he gets talking about how he went into the Nike store one day and they had a Our Lives Matter, I guess like a signage or whatever hung up. Everybody, you know, was trying to take pictures by it. Everybody seemed, you know, happy and joyous or whatever. And then he, you know, being a recovering addict, he saw some shoes that's $130 to $40. And he's like, y'all don't care about us. I mean, really, if you think about it, like even with Black Lives Matter, when we were trying to do something with that in the spring, he was talking about how it's so many revolutions going on at one time. You know what I'm saying? Like the civil rights has its own bill, has its own, you know, like era and everything, because it was just one revolution. It was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was just, we need black rights. We just need basic rights. That's it. It wasn't white people saying, yeah, well, we needed to, or, you know, I mean, just counter and stuff, because it's just, that's just what it should be. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it was, and that's just what it should be, and they didn't stop fighting until they got it. So, I mean, when you have, like, abortion, some people are pro-life, some people, I mean, it should just be one thing. It's LGBTQ. Obama passed, you know, a law saying that they can get married and all of that, and that's way back in 08 and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It should just be one-sided. It shouldn't be, yeah, well, I feel it. I mean, it just shouldn't be. I mean, it should just be common sense. Like, yeah, it's not your body. You do not get to choose what a woman gets to do with her body. It should just be, you know, this is not your life. You don't get to choose who somebody loves and who somebody doesn't. I mean, it should just be one-sided, and I completely agree with that, because, I mean, you look back, and I mean, it was just an era. It was just, yes, we need civil rights, we need basic rights. It wasn't, nah, we need them too. Like, I mean, white people, like, I mean, Black Lives Matter movement, that's supposed to be a movement. And for some reason, we have Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, everybody else but the ones that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all these counter revolutions taking place. And he also talked about like how the revolutions are just so fast, so back to back. I mean, in this quarantine alone, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, obviously George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, you know, they really showed out. But then, I mean, even, you know, rape was trending on Twitter. That's another one. And I mean, it like everything just happened so fast that it doesn't even give it time to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, well, yeah, they matter. But I mean, like, it's no time to even implement change. It's no time to either, you know, fund the police or defund them. It's no time to even make a change, because the next day it's something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, way back then, it wasn't all of that. It wasn't all of that. They didn't have phones to be, you know, covering every inch of news in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't like that, and it's different times now. So I'll insert the clip now that I've gave my 2 cents.
Fuck you, Nike. You don't give a fuck about anything or anyone. Chinese Muslims are selling these Kaepernick sneakers for 7 cents an hour, and you tell me my black ass matters. Give me a fucking break. If rap music wasn't mainstream, if Nirvana was still the most popular band in America, they'd be out here saying depression matters, because that's what will move sneakers. These advertisers, They too good. Uh-huh. And they not smart at us. But at the same time, your generation's full of some mark-ass bitches because they tapped into your phones. Yeah, they read your likes. They predicted your moves and trapped your asses. You think you out here fighting a revolution and Bank of America's on your side? Give me a fucking break. Because a true revolution has no allies. It's just that simple. It's a true revolution, not a fast one, not a quick one, not a fashionable one, but a real fucking revolution is at its core spiritual. It is a complete decimation of one's priorities, beliefs, and way of living, and reconstruction in the spirit of you have to create a new God, or gods, or whatever you can, but it is imperative that you believe in something greater than yourself. All right? And it can't be the ocean or your favorite song, and it can't be the movement or the people or the words. You've got to believe in the poetry.
And I love this aspect of the conversation too, because it just felt like a really inclusive, restaurant, because Martha, obviously, she has some seniority there, and, she's kind of older overall, and you kind of find out that she was an addict too. And she's been, sober for 17 years, and I mean, she said a lot of no problem with it, but here it go.
17. Why?
What would happen if you thought about dating in the early stages of you trying to get clean?
You want to know if I was interested in dating or if I was interested in getting clean? Because the answer is yes to both of those questions. But I had to not be in a relationship so that I could focus on my sobriety. Because that's what I wanted, and I didn't have enough energy for both of those. And I wanted to get clean. Everything that's good to you ain't always good for you.
What do you have to say to somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of hope?
When I was a little girl growing up, my grandma used to always have this saying, and I never understood what it meant until I was ready to get clean. And her words were, baby, trouble don't last always.
All right, y'all, so that is the end. That is all the clips that I put up. My hair will be looking different the next time y'all see me, which will be tomorrow. And the next one, with Jules, that one doesn't come out until January, I think like 24th or something. So if y'all would like another one of these, to kind of just sit through and analyze what's really going on, down in the comments. Y'all know how to get in touch with me. But stay tuned, because we do have some different things coming up this week of Vlogmas. I know that I'm late getting to this video, but I have stuff to do. As you can tell, I'm still not done with my stuff that I have to do. But y'all know what to do. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you liked it. If you got some other ideas for me, share with somebody that you know, somebody you don't know. Make sure they subscribe if they're new. Subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.